Hello, friend. Spencer Love of Love Wrestling here. I am very, very excited today to be joined by one of the hottest free agents out there, the modern day man in black, Jake Crist, joining me on the show. Dude, it's great to talk to you. It's been very, very cool to get caught up with your career and everything prior to this, because quite literally, man, it's only recently that I was really able to find interviews from. So I'm super, super excited to dig into your backstory, your career, your early days, and of course, your free agency. But of course, the world we live in is a weird one, man. How are you doing and how are you holding up?
Hey, I'm holding up just like everybody else, being quarantined, I kind of like it, being stuck in, having the mask on and stuff, doing the social distancing. I kind of like that thing, but, 3 years ago when I was running Rockstar Pro Wrestling, I made a rule every week. I was like, you don't have to come and shake my hand. You don't have to come and say hi. I want to see you next week. Just give me a nod or, a fist bump. So I was kind of ahead of this, I was.
You're an early adopter of quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of prepared before this, so I've kind of always been about the fist bumps, the traditional handshake, the handshake. People don't even know what that means most of the time. So
that's exactly it. And by no means was I ever a wrestler, nor do I have the plans for it, man. You're looking at a 160-pound wearing boots, wearing kid. But the handshakes I never understood. As long as I feel like you say hello to people, you respect them, you treat them properly as a human being, I understand tradition, but I also understand why maybe that one may not be the most big of a deal,
But it is, though. It's so ridiculous that it's such, like people get heat. Oh, he didn't shake my hand. Oh, he didn't come and say hello. Care, especially during this pandemic. Please, like if I'm on a show with you and you're listening to this and you're an independent wrestler, do not come and shake my hand.
Wave across the room.
You don't even have to do a fist bump. Just say, hey, from a distance. Long distance high five if we have to, but like
absolutely,
dude. Like we don't have to do the whole handshake and then all that. No heat from me. I do not care. Like please, you don't have to come shake my hand.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're not here to talk about well, we ain't here to talk about handshakes and hot dogs. We're here to talk about free agency. We're here to talk about you getting paid here in the near future. But like I said, I want to dig into the early days of your career because there are a few interviews out there, but there aren't really a ton, at least that I found, where you really talk about your roots. Obviously, Ohio versus everything. You're well representing Ohio, but maybe take me a little bit through the early days of your professional wrestling career. What was the independent scene like when you were breaking in?
It was very, very different than what it is today. It was a different time. I mean, I know a lot of people say that, but when I was getting in, I broke in 2002. And I was probably around the Dayton area. I was probably wrestling for about a year, and then decided to go to Cincinnati to Heartland Wrestling Association. And I was actually still a senior in high school. And
cool.
I skipped school one day and went to training class, and Les Thatcher said the best thing that ever could have happened to me and this business is my mother should have swallowed me. Time ever meeting this guy, I'm like, what the hell?
Thanks, man.
Why is this old man telling me this stuff? But like I said, that was a different time. It was also a time of developmental where I was a boy coming in a man's world. And HWA had developmental system. It was Nigel McGuinness, Matt Stryker with the unibrow, Chad Collier, all those guys. We're talking about men bidding for contracts for WWF and WWE. So I believe they were still WWF at the time. I don't remember when they transitioned over, but like
when they got the F out.
I'm aging myself. I don't know. I don't remember when they got the F out, but But I thought that was a cool little thing too. Get the F out. But
Oh,
anyway,
dude, you and I both. As like what would I have been? I would have been 11. Anytime you've got the opportunity to subtly curse, you take it.
oh man, yeah. I mean, I was like 18 at the time, so it was a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
getting back to the old HWA, I mean, like I was a boy coming in a man's locker room. Like it wasn't like it was nowadays. The handshakes and all that meant everything. If you didn't go and say hello and introduce yourself to everybody, you would get heat. And like I said, I mean, those guys are by. Not only do we have guys that are signed to WWE developmentals or WWF developmentals at the time, but we're also, there's men trying to get that developmental. You know what I mean? So it's like coming in as a boy, I got my ass kicked.
Dove in with both feet, hey?
I was like 130 pounds, and like I said, like jacked up men, all gassed out of their gills. So it's like, they beat our asses.
Yeah.
But that's just what it was. It's a different time. We took it on the chin. It made you stronger. You took those comments. It gave you thicker skin. Would I recommend, any trainer out there say, hey, best thing that ever could have happened to you or your mother or you and your brother or whatever it was, your mother should have swallowed you. I was like, God.
Can't believe that, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, it was nuts. But like I said, I mean, this is like a 60-something-year-old man telling, or maybe as a 50-something, who knows? He had white and gray hair at the time with the thick glasses. I love glasses. Loved my time at HWA. I'm not talking trash, but it was just a different time. And we're just talking, 18 years ago. So it's just not that long ago, but it seems like it was ages ago.
Absolutely, man. It's kind of ironic, and we'll talk about it in a bit here, but like you look at Les Thatcher and sort of the way your careers have paralleled up to this point a little bit. Obviously, he was working with his cousins and then transitions into a single star, looking like what you're primed to do next year. Is that sort of the thing that's front of mind for you, or is that the major goal with your free agency is establish yourself as a singles guy?
Absolutely. That is my major goal. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, yes, no worries, man. You're enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been a part of a group my whole entire 18 years of being a wrestler. So it's like either a tag team or in a group, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved my experience, but now it's time to bet on myself. It's time to see what I have to offer, not only, to myself, but to my fans as well. Like I want to prove to everybody that I am a single star.
Yeah. Do you think that was a conscious decision on your part and your brother's part when you were sort of breaking in and you sort of got typecast as a tag team guy? Was that, how did that sort of happen?
With us breaking in at the same time and being brothers, like there's, back in the day, there it was always gimmicky. There wasn't hardly any families in wrestling, and if it was, and they loved it, and they used that to their advantage, and that's exactly what happened with us as a tag team. They just, being a brother and happened to be, in the business, they just linked us together as a team. When we first started, we weren't a team. We were single, and we did just stuff in DCW. It was called Dynamic Championship Wrestling in Dayton. Actually, it's called Dayton Championship Wrestling, and then it went to Dynamic Championship Wrestling.
Gotta add the flair.
Oh yeah, add that flair, bro. When Dynamic, bro. We don't want to confine ourselves to Dayton, Ohio.
Well, and then you can travel elsewhere. Exactly.
Exactly. That's exactly why we changed it. But anyways, we were actually singles, but HWA, they threw us together as a team. They loved the fact that we were brothers, and I think everyone actually loved the fact, like the Hardy Boys being real brothers and so on and so forth. So there's not, there's some, the Young Bucks, but like there's not that many actual siblings, the Briscoes, but there's not too many other teams that I can really think of that are actually brothers.
Absolutely, man. Now,
they liked.
yeah, I think people can look at your X Division run and your X Division championship run as sort of an attempt to break out as a singles guy as well. But before that, were there ever any attempts, to become a singles guy or break away from being the Crists and become Jake Crist?
Not really. There was with being in OVE for the last 3.5 years, and then they broke that up, and then they put me in a cancel culture. So it was like they were kind of just they're going to bounce me from group to group anyway. So like who knows, but like I as far as the past, like I never really tried to break out as a singles guy or anything like that. This will be the very first opportunity. So wish me luck, bud.
Oh, dude, 110%. At the very least, I can guarantee you've got a fan in me. In saying that, though, well, good. I hope I pay the bills then. I wanted to ask then, like with your X Division run and being the first time that you tried to break as a singles guy, were you intimidated? Did you see it as a major opportunity? What were your thoughts leading into that?
I just saw it as a major opportunity that the company was putting stock in me, and plus it was my very first major championship I ever won. I think about AJ Styles. I think about all the guys that's held this championship: Chris Sabin, Christopher Daniels. The list goes on and on and on, and how many great people have held the X Division championship, and to be able to wrestle one of my best friends for the championships and beating him for it was just the icing on the cake.
Love you, dude. Do you feel like it got pushed into the background a little bit? Because if my memory serves me correctly, I could be wrong here as well, man. But it seems like you were equally wrestling as a group and as a tag team as you were wrestling sort of as an X Division star. So do you maybe feel that Seward isn't the right word here, but do you maybe feel that it wasn't given the shine or you weren't given the opportunity once you had the title to really try and break through with it? Or do you still feel like it was like, it's great to hear you talking so positively about it still?
Oh no, I love my time at Impact Wrestling. You won't get a bad word out of my mouth about Impact. To be honest, like it made me hone myself as like a character. They taught me a lot about the business, that I didn't know. Yeah. And they made me the person that I am today. And with the X Division championship run, like I don't necessarily I put myself as like a utility player. Like whatever position you need me to go out there and play, I'll be able to go out there and do it. So it's like if you need me to go out there and be in a group, and go out there and be in a group. If you need me to go out there and scale across the wires in the Ultimate X match, or if you need me to wrap myself in barbed wire, as you can tell, I love death match, VJ brother. But yeah, for sure. I don't know if it was I don't know, like the very next night I wrestled Aiden Prince. But it was actually, it was being taped or whatever. But like the next time you got to see the X Division championship on the line it was me versus Aiden Prince. And I thought that was an amazing match. Like two of my favorite matches at Impact Wrestling is Rich Swann and Aiden Prince. Because I really feel like as a champion, if they can remember who you beat for it and who beat you for it, you did a good job. And Ace Austin beat me for it, and so
everyone remembers how that went, man. That was a hell of a run. Like you say, it's been fantastic watching Impact over about the last couple of years. You were there for pretty well all of it, through an interesting ass time in Impact Professional Wrestling. You were there for the tail end of the Jeff Jarrett era, if I remember correctly. Yes, being there for that and then watching it grow into what it is, being such a major part of it, how much pride do you take in that?
Well, to be honest, I don't really think about it like that. Like I with OVE and LAX, I feel like we brought like a I don't know, a new, like a breath of fresh air, I guess. Because all we wanted to do was just go out there and kill it to the best of our abilities. We just wanted to go out there and have the best matches, and the 5150 street fights to the barbed wire massacre. like I thought those matches were amazing. I think they kind of, helped. I think they helped us as a group,
Yeah.
and then Sammy being brought in was just the icing on the cake. It actually made us have a voice. I couldn't have been more happy because Sammy's my best friend.
Yeah.
So when he came in with us, it was amazing for me.
Well, like you mentioned, man, like you list off the match stipulations, you list off your X Division matches, and it just really speaks to how well-rounded I think you are as a professional wrestler. Is there a point in your professional wrestling that you take pride in, whether it's, your ability to wrestle death matches and, survive to tell the tale?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've done a lot. I've done my fair share of death matches. I've wrestled Danny Havoc a few different times. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, Danny Havoc. Miss you every day. But as far as death matches, as far as any type of diversity when it comes to wrestling, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. If you need me to bleed all over you, I got you.
Well, I'll watch. Don't personally bleed all over me if you could, dude.
I'm just saying, promoters out there, the deathmatch community.
Absolutely, dude. It's kind of cool. Again, you've referenced in past interviews, your love of different styles of professional wrestling, your different styles of music. It's just, again, a really, really cool dichotomy. Take me a little bit through the Modern Man in Black. You've referenced Johnny Cash with it in a couple of previous interviews as well, but take me through the mindset of where that came from.
Oh man, the Modern Man in Black is actually just based off the times that we're in. If you actually listen to the Man in Black, the Johnny Cash song, it's pretty much reference, like, I'm pretty much based this character not just off of that song, but like a lot of that. A lot of the times, like, you're for the bad, for the beaten down, the poor. Like, what's going down? 90%, 99% of America is beaten down right now. Or the whole world, as a matter of fact, not just America. Excuse me on that, but the whole world down right now. So it's like you won't get a bright color on my back until things are brighter, legit. And that's kind of like when I was listening to the Johnny Cash Man in Black, it was kind of like I was vibing out to. I was like, wow, it really spoke to me, and also like mix that with like a little bit of Marilyn Manson-ish. I think you got a character.
Yeah, absolutely,
I think you got
dude.
a character. And like I said, I'm a pro wrestler that happens to be a rock star.
And nobody plays the 3-string like you do, my friend. Is that the direction? Is that the direction that you wanted to go with Impact? I know you were off television for the last little bit, but after everything that went down with your brother and with cancel culture itself, had you been brought back, is this the way you would have wanted to go with it? How long has this been percolating?
Absolutely, this is the route that I would have went. Actually, sent them messages about this and all this. But I mean, what's happened has happened. I'm not trying to dwell on the past.
Absolutely.
I know that whole saying. If you dwell on the past, you're doomed to repeat your future, or the whatever it is. But like, I'm not living in the past, man. I'm just trying to look forward and look, to the brightness of 2021. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to finally getting out of the coronavirus pandemic phase of our lives. Because I saw this meme the other day, and it was like, when you reach in your pocket 10 years from now and you pull out a mask, and it's like, wow, what a crazy year that was.
Yeah. Oh man, it's insane.
I really hope it's like that. I really hope we're not going across the wetlands like the rest of the
I was gonna say we'll cut off at the halfway point. I think I saw the same one out there in the Twitterverse at some point. Well, it ties it in nicely, man, because like you said, let's look to the future. There's no need to dwell on the past. Greg Bush, a friend of mine on Twitter, asks if there's someone you're specifically looking to work first, not at any point in 2021, but if there was someone you were looking to work first after the calendar turns, is there someone specific you'd have in mind?
You know what? Not really. I look at all the different companies. I'm like, oh, this guy would be great to work. This guy would be great to work. But I mean, as far as getting a list or having people that I want to wrestle in 2021. I'm just never really been about that. Whatever happens, happens.
Mhm.
Is a kind of I'm a kind of guy that that any way the wind takes me is the way I'm going to go.
I
If
love
that
it,
makes it.
man. No, 100%. It actually ties in nicely because I did want to ask, what are the goals for next year? Is it a major promotion? Is it to work a specific city? But like you say, it's wherever the world takes you, right?
Wherever the wind blows is where I'll go. Whoever, like I said, there's really, I know you're supposed to have goals, and you should probably sit down and, work towards something. But right now, being a free agent, I'm just going to live this up, and I actually, love being an independent wrestler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I could do or say whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't have to ask like, hey, is it cool if I go and do this podcast? Hey, is it
Yeah.
cool if this happens? Hey, can I wear this in my interview? Which is, rightfully so. You have to have that direction once you get contract and you're on TV and you're rocking and you're
Mhm.
rolling. But as far as, being the modern man in black, doing the thing that I'm doing, the where I'm just striving to be the best singles guy that I could be. That's just all I'm looking forward to.
Well, and being
If I
a
could do
drifter
that in
suits
any
Johnny Cash.
promotion, any big promotion, let's do it.
But it ties in nicely, right? Being a drifter suits the modern man in black just
Absolutely.
fine, whether you're talking about real life or, tied into kayfabe. Why not?
Right. And that's the biggest thing. They say the best characters are just you amped up, 10 or 20 fold. And this is me amped up 10 or 20 fold. I am that kind of drifter, whichever way the wind takes me is the way I'll go. I don't like having a plan, like
Mhm.
I like just, going by the skin of my teeth or whatever.
Whichever way the wind blows, man. Hopefully, I would
Yeah.
have to say, selfishly, that it blows up to Edmonton, Alberta sooner rather than later. I've never had the opportunity to watch you wrestle live.
Hey,
So let's get these borders open. I hope to see you here sooner rather than later, man.
I would love to get back to Canada. And I've never been to Edmonton, Alberta either.
I was going to say, though, it does seem like a lot of your bigger career moments have happened in Ontario, right? Like you win the X
Yeah,
Division title there. If I remember correctly, you either debuted for Impact in Canada or were there shortly thereafter.
it was right
Make it to
after
the
I was
West
in.
Coast.
I love. You know what? I'm thinking about moving to Canada.
Hey, I'll vouch for us every single time I
Yeah,
can,
I
man.
love Canada.
I
And,
love it, dude.
and my first, so for 6 years, I booked a group in Dayton called Rockstar Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
And the first time me and Ron Mathis went to Canada for, man, I can't remember. It wasn't Alpha One. That was me and Dave. I'm trying to remember me and Ron Mathis. Man, I can't remember who it was for.
There's a lot in Ontario if that's where you were going out. There's like
But
four on the West Coast.
yeah, I really wish. But anyways, we loved Canada so much we came back that next Wednesday and told the fans we actually deferred to Canada and got a whole bunch of heat. It was great. It was
I love it,
amazing.
man. Well, feel free to defer. Feel free to make an appearance, whatever it is, man. If you're wrestling here, I will be there to see you. I do have to close it out, and obviously a bit of a tougher note with the world of professional wrestling right now. But I do have to ask your thoughts just as far as Brodie Lee goes, if you had an affiliation, anything like that, or just provide
Oh,
no platform if there's anything you'd like to speak on that end.
as far as Brodie Lee, my heart's crushed. Obviously reading all the stories and the interviews and stuff and the tweets of the other brothers and professional wrestler tweeting about how great he was. Like I happened to run into him here and there throughout my career, but as far as me knowing him, I really didn't know the guy. I probably had maybe one conversation with him my whole entire career. So our paths never really they crossed, but when they did, they didn't cross for that long. Ring of Honor, Dragon Gate USA, maybe like we never did any Evolve, but I think those were like the only two companies that or past, maybe 2CW in upstate New York. But as far as I never really knew him, but my heart is broken in a million pieces due to just how great of a guy that I hear that he was, and leaving his sons and wife behind is just it's crushing. Yeah. It's crushing, and the good ones do die young.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Well, thanks for sharing that. Like I said, I don't have many unique thoughts on it. It's heartbreaking to say the least. So
it is heartbreaking, and just to hear on how great of a human being he was is just it just breaks your heart that much more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I've never had the pleasure of really sitting down and having a great conversation with him, but like I wish I did. This, hearing how great of a man he was. Seems like there's a lot of similar stuff that was going on and happening with both of us. With
absolutely
his wife getting pregnant. I found out when I was in upstate New York that I was having a second child. So that's kind of weird, but it's my heart's out to his family.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, Jake. And thank you for taking the time for me today. It's incredibly appreciated. I'm so incredibly excited to see what happens with your career going forward. Like I said, selfishly, if you can get up to Canada sooner rather than later, that would be the only humble request that I've got.
Let's open these borders.
Absolutely, man.
I've been talking with a guy in, the biggest wrestling city in Canada would be what?
We've got a few. Toronto's probably up there. Winnipeg's actually got a couple of great promotions. I'll always vouch for Edmonton.
Edmonton, Alberta, and but Winnipeg. I'm actually talking with a guy, and hopefully to come. How far away is Winnipeg from Edmonton, Alberta?
If you fly, you got about 3 hours, and if you drive, you got about 15.
Woo! Woo!
Jake Crist Road Trip 2021. Brother, I will see you there. Thank you once again for the time, man. I always like to leave the final segment of the show for my guests to plug where people can keep track of them on social media, on YouTube, anywhere in this universe of professional wrestling. Where can people find Jake Crist?
I like to keep it simple. Instagram, Twitter, just hit me up at the Jake Crist. It's simple. At the Jake Crist, and Facebook, just Jake Crist. That's it. I only got 3 social medias.
There is absolutely no way, shape, or form people shouldn't be watching you if it's that easy. Thanks once again, man. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to have the opportunity again.
Anytime, brother. Thank you. Peace.
Anytime.